Hello, so here we are at the halfway point of the class. Well, we're actually at the tipping point of the class. We're over halfway. So this week, we're going to follow through on something I gave you last week, this teach a topic midterm. And I don't know if I talked about it last week, but one of the best ways to learn something is have to teach it to somebody else, because you really have to demonstrate that you understand it, because students will catch it every time. Believe me, I know. I get messages all the time asking me questions. So this week we have a really important topic, and it's a possibility that you could use it. I'll be sending out feedback on the people that submitted the part from the teach a topic last week that they were supposed to. So you get credit for that. I'll be working on that. And we're going to look at some fake news things. And so what is fake news? Let's find out. Let me do a screen share. I'll jump on over here and show you what resources are available this week. And so always start here, but you're watching this, so clearly you have started here. Down in the Think section, there's a series of videos from the BBC. It probably take you an hour or so to watch them all, maybe a little over an hour. I think they're, between 15 and 20 minutes, but it breaks down in a really clear way. What is fake news and where does it come from and why is it even a problem? And, with coronavirus going around, there's all kinds of stuff. And now, it feels like all the time there's something new that we have to apply these critical thinking skills to. So this one, the last video is going to talk about doing that with coronavirus. So that's going to be in our Think section, because I really want you to think about it. In the screen recording section, or the Learn section, there's a video here on 9 tips to do a good screen recording, just to give you some ideas for how to make your midterm video just a little bit nicer, more fun to look at. Anyhow, nothing major there, but some ideas you may not have heard from. That's why I stuck it in the Learn section. Now let's come down to our 2 assignments. I'm going to click on this one first. It says play Fakey Osomi. Anyhow, this is a game that is out there for you to test, and it's not like the most technically savvy looking game, but I think you'll get the point. So I already have it open, so I'm going to jump over here. Now I've already been on this a couple of times today, so it doesn't give me the whole intro screen, but basically it will show you. I thought I had it on here, but I don't. But it will show you a little bit of information in the beginning. You can choose to do a Facebook or a Twitter login if you wanted to keep kind of a transcript of what you're doing. That's one option, because you're going to play this 3 times. And we're going to keep track of your score for all 3 times. So you can either do 3 screenshots, or if you log in, you can just copy your transcript. But I'm going to just go anonymously. And here's a tutorial here if you need to go back to that. So I'm going to hit play. And what it's going to do is show you a series of, I think, about 10 headlines with a little bit of information about it. You have to make some choices. If you share or like it, that means you think it's true. If you want to fact check it, that means you need more information. If you'd like a hint about it, click on hint. It'll tell you where it comes from. And that might give you some more details. And this one actually links directly to the article. So based on the information here, you make a judgment call, and it will tell you whether that was correct or not. And so if you just keep coming down, and I like that it kind of gives you, here's how many people liked or shared it, because that doesn't always mean anything. You could have 40,000 people sharing something that's just not true. So you'll go through all this, you'll go through these articles, and then when you're done, it'll give you a score. And that's what you want to screenshot, because if you don't log in with Facebook or Twitter, it's not going to keep track of that. So do your screenshot like you've done on some other things before, and keep track of that. So once you have all of that, once you've looked through the BBC stuff about fake news, once you've played 3 rounds of this game, it'll give you something that looks like this, a game summary, and that's good enough. You can just copy that. What you're going to do is on the Week 5 Insights channel, we're going to focus this directly on fake news. So I want you on your Insight channel to talk about, what have you learned about identifying fake news? What strategies have you discovered for identifying reliable news? Find one unique source that I haven't put up there and that nobody else has used on the channel yet, and share that, but talk about like, why is this relevant? What is useful about, don't just do a Google search and throw a link up there because that won't even count. Now that you've had a few weeks of doing insights, I'm going to start digging into them a little more. So far, I've given you a little bit of grace on that, but you need to demonstrate to me that you actually read, understood, and took something away from the content for the week, and that you can find something that's relevant and explain why it's relevant. So give me something fairly substantial. That doesn't mean it's got to be 5 pages long, but it's probably got to be a couple of really good paragraphs. Okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up on that. Anyhow, what you're going to do is share your score screenshots, respond to those questions on the Channel 5 Insight channel. Now let's go back to the midterm. So you had a bit of a preview last week. Lots of people have submitted the piece that they were supposed to, and I'm going to start responding to those today. But let's jump into the midterm teacher topic. So there's more details here. Go ahead and read through the details, but it's a 10-step process. I know that sounds like a lot, but I tried to break it down for you in a way that was somewhat interesting. And I talked about this a little bit last week. So I'm not going to read over all of this again, but you should make sure you've checked off all these steps. In a nutshell, you're going to create a 5 to 10 minute video, 5 to 10 minutes, that teaches somebody something. And you have something that we've learned. So you look at all the topics of stuff we've learned so far in the class, pick something and see if you can teach that to somebody else. So identify who your audience is. Are you teaching it to your middle school kids? Are you teaching it to your grandma? Are you teaching it to some people at church? Are you teaching it to your neighbor? Who are you teaching this to? Have somebody in mind, because that will help you decide what you're going to talk about. And then come up with your resources, make an outline, and record your video. You know, the worst case scenario, you don't like it, you just delete it and start over. That's the cool thing about Zoom. I do these videos in Zoom. I just get in here with a screen share, hit go, just like this. And this is what I'd like. I'd like to see your face on there so that I can identify that it's you doing the video. Just hit go. Talk through your outline, talk through whatever it is you're going to talk through, show whatever it is you're going to show, and then check it out, just submit it. But don't worry about it if there's a few mistakes or if you stumbled or the screen didn't share right or whatever. Like, unless it's a major snafu, I don't re-record stuff. So I don't expect you to either. Don't put a lot of post-production into this. If you really hate it, then go ahead and record it again. But the best way around that is to practice. Just look in the mirror and practice a few times. Once you've got an idea of what you're going to say, it'll go just fine. I'm sure of it. There are a couple of links here: how to record on Zoom, how to share your screen in Zoom. There's a link. A lot of people like Screencast-O-Matic. Loom is one that works in a web browser. There's several things on here to help you out. So afterwards, view your video. Maybe show it to somebody else, maybe show it to whoever your audience person is, see what they think, see if they have any suggestions. If they've got some good ones, consider revising it if you want to. And then what you're going to do, just like we did with the intro videos, as a matter of fact, I took this option 1 and 2 from the intro video assignment. You're going to upload your video, once you like it, to YouTube or Google Drive. Now, what's critical about both of those is you have to set the permissions so that we can see it. And especially in Google Drive, you need to make sure it's set to anyone with a link can view. Because if you're on your college Google account, the default is not that. The default share is set to anyone at VVC can view. Well, I don't have a VVC Google account, so I can't see it. So if you do that, you're going to just get a 0. I'm not going to go chase it down. So you make sure that your setting on your share settings is anyone with a link can view. Okay. And here's a video on how to upload it to Google. Here's a video about how to upload it to YouTube. Either one, just make sure you get the link. Then what you're going to do is share it and submit it. So sharing it, there's going to be a week 5 midterm channel on Discord. And I want you to share it, kind of give a brief synopsis, like you don't have to write out your whole script or anything, but what's the topic, who's your audience, what's the description, maybe include a link or two of things that you shared and include a link to your video. So that'll be the share part, step 9. And then step 10, you have to submit it to me. And so there's going to be a form to fill out. Here's a link to the form on step 10. It's really simple. First name, last name, email address, what's the title of your video, give it a title, and then about your video, what's the topic, what other, and so on the topic, there's a list. These are the things we've talked about. But if it's something that doesn't quite fit in this list, just pick other and then tell me what's it about. Who's your audience? Give me your description. It's kind of the same stuff you're putting on Discord, but this helps me keep track of everything in one place. And then you're going to submit your video. So you're going to put your URL here for your video, HTTP, whatever, put the whole, just copy it, put the URL, the shared URL there. And then these are some permission questions. Will you let me share this or not? Hit submit, away you go. That's all there is to that. You may have noticed most assignments are worth, 10 or 20 points. This is a 100-point assignment. And the bulk of the points are in the content section. All right. Are you giving me 5 to 10 minutes thoroughly explaining how to do the thing you've chosen to share to teach to somebody else? So always read through the rubric. It will tell you what is needed in any given assignment, if there is one. And this is a big assignment. It's worth almost as many points as we've done all together so far, I think. And yeah, this is what we're looking at for our week. Basically, we're looking at fake news. We're looking at how to screen record, and we're looking at doing a midterm video. So if you can get all those things figured out, you're in pretty good shape.